Secure some price for Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, for a presentation of Bet365. Coming to you from the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studio here at the historic Wall Center. Visit shoptoyota.ca or visit your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. I'm Matt. He's Blake. Mike, all his Junos, hitting switches, conducting things. Big show. Big show coming up. Lots happening, including a win. Welcome to the victory column in 2026 Vancouver Canucks.
Exhale, everybody. It's over. Mm-hmm. All that waiting around, that hoping for a win. You can park that hope now. It's finally happened. Mm-hmm. I don't know that there was that many people hoping for a win, Matt.
Well, I think there were some people hoping to end this franchise worst losing streak.
In the franchise, now, sure. Fans, I don't know.
Would have preferred Saturday against Edmonton before it got to this. And, of course, you want to get that Toronto game at the end of the homestand a week from Saturday.
If you've got tickets to a game, you're hoping for a win. Everybody on the couch is probably like, nah, it's wide.
Well, here's the other thing. Attendance still very good there.
Yeah.
I checked the other day. They're 4th or 5th in the league in attendance. Like, there is still – the secondary market is soft. But as we've said for some time now, they're a little bit Teflon against an attendance plummet.
Well, it can only go so low.
Yes. We'll see where it goes from here because you're entering a rebuild. There's going to be a lot of losing. But I saw, I don't believe it was official census data, but I saw an update this week. Metro Vancouver, population 3 million. Mm-hmm. Of course, a lot of wealthy people in this community who can afford hockey tickets, season tickets. And, the community is just small enough that a hockey game, an NHL hockey game, is an event that people want to go to. And are finding other reasons other than home team wins to go, including being entertained by watching the best hockey players in the world. And last night on the ice for the Washington Capitals, one of the greatest players in hockey history, Alex Ovechkin, making possibly, likely, his final appearance.
A lot of Capitals jerseys in the crowd.
Yeah.
A lot of kids, like a lot of 10-year-olds in Capitals jerseys.
Mm-hmm. It was Pride Night as well, and so that brings out members of the LGBTQ community. So, look.
I'm sure Ovi was happy. I saw the...
oh, I love it.
It's his second Pride Week game in the last week, I think.
One of the things we have often said about Canucks Sports Entertainment, they don't do a lot of things well. Theme nights is an exception. Mm-hmm. They do theme nights and, of course, theme jerseys particularly well. And if this was calculated so that it was against Alex Ovechkin, Vladimir Putin's chief propagandist, sporting propagandist, as a little stick it to that regime, which has been so homophobic and not an ally to the LGBTQ community, good on whoever at Canucks Sports Entertainment made that call. And I'll also hand it to the Canucks players because a vast majority of them had some degree of pride tape on their stick last night in warm-up, showing that they are allies. So, and then the other thing I'll say, Blake, so I'm watching the game in the living room. She's in the kitchen. 1-0. 2-0. She goes, "Are you going to watch this whole thing? Like, this is going to be a blowout." And I go, "Well, yeah, I'm going to watch it." It's an entertaining game.
Yep.
And we know there's going to be losses aplenty going forward, but you've got to entertain to some degree for a commercial public, both in the building and at home, investing their time watching on television. And last night they were entertaining. Effort until that 6-game Eastern road trip where they lost them all had rarely been a problem. And you got effort again last night from the Vancouver Canucks, and this time in a winning cause. So good on them for that. Enjoyed the game. Look, the game had its appeal last night. I mean, it didn't have a lot of gravitas in the standings, of course, but
it was a decently played game for sure. And the fact that it included a comeback, and we're going to get into the intestinal resolve there of the team. Mm-hmm. The fact that they proved a lot of doubters wrong, who probably thought that it was going to be a walk-away sort of victory. No, that's all good.
At 2-0, I was sitting there going, "Oh my God!" I mean, if this one gets away from them and they get their doors blown off after Foote had played that veteran card, where he took a run at his veterans Monday night, because as Frankie Corrado told us yesterday, he's absolutely right. As a head coach, you only get to play some of these cards, once, maybe a couple times a year, where you take a run at your veterans, you take a run at your best players, or you go public with practice habits or things like that. Those are messaging points that are only occasionally available to you. You got to pick your spots. Foote picked a good spot, as it turned out. Mm-hmm. More on that in a second. Let's start with our Yellow Dog poll question, brought to you by Yellow Dog Brewing, Neighborhood Brewing, Foolish Winery. Who is the must-keep veteran to lead the Canucks rebuild? We heard Patrick Alvin earlier in the week say, look, we've got to keep some vets here, not going to let our young guys be exposed to everything that is going to go on from this point forward without some veteran leadership. So we're asking you, who should be the vet to lead this rebuild? You can vote for Brock Besser. You can vote for Jake DeBrusk. You can vote for Filip Hronek. You can vote for Elias Pettersson. And feel free, if you want to go off the board, to reply with write in your veteran. Have you voted here?
It's Hronek for me, but it's by a hair. I mean, I do see still some value in Elias Pettersson on your team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, where are you at center ice we'll get into that in a sec.
But I think, we've talked about what right shot defensemen go for on the open market. I think it's a thinner market there than even at center. So I'll probably vote with the majority, I'm going to guess, and say Filip Hronek.
Yeah, that's fair to me too. And Hronek actually spoke post-game. More on that in a second. So, look, one of the things that's happened since the Quinn Hughes trade and then further exacerbated this week after the Kiefer Sherwood trade is a lot more speculation, a lot more talk about whether some of these Canuck veterans with trade protection would be willing to waive their no-move, their no-trade clauses. And the agent for Elias Pettersson, J.P. Barry, was on Donnie and Dolly this morning saying, look, the location would have to work for both Petey and the Canucks. And that he mentioned the Canucks as well makes me wonder, do they really want to trade him in division and want to play him for the next 6-7 years? There's a lot of speculation about L.A. Would L.A. be a fit, especially with his new wife having roots there? And look, just guessing here, I don't know, but I think Elias would waive for L.A. or Anaheim. If you're the Canucks, do you want to make that deal? If you feel like you're absolutely winning the deal, then you can. We've talked about this in the past. In-division trades are not what they used to be. But by the same token, boy, if he turns it around somewhere else, and there's a lot of people who believe a change of scenery and Elias Pettersson can turn it around, get back to being the 100-point player, the number one centerman he once was here in Vancouver, that is going to be tough to stomach, seeing him all those games each and every year. Ideal scenario, you move him to an Eastern team, you see him twice a year, and even if he turns it around, you go, oh, well, doesn't affect the price of tea here. We're not competing with them for playoff spots, whereas you would be with the Kings or the Ducks in time. One hopes. Probably not the next couple of years, but somewhere down the road in that Elias Pettersson contract with the years remaining. Dhaliwal also saying teams calling on Drew O'Connor. And I can understand that. He's been very good this year. He's been very good as a Vancouver Canuck.
And a reasonable cap hit.
Yeah, all those things.
You get one more year, so you're not just renting the guy.
And the speculation there is, will his old coach here, Rick Tocchet, be interested? Tocchet was a fan of O'Connor. And he's got the partial no-trade clause. O'Connor does, a 12-team no-trade list.
And that would be a savvy trade for the Canucks because trading anybody else is going to be a bit of an ordeal because of the no-trade clauses and the bigger cap hits.
Well, not all of them. Garland, of course. But yes, I hear what you're saying.
But everybody else does have a no-trade clause and is got a big cap hit. And that does include Garland.
Right.
This is a small cap hit, just limited no-trade protection. If you got something notable for Drew O'Connor, that would be a win.
Yep.
That would be a win. And it's not that you don't like Drew O'Connor. It's just that there are other Drew O'Connors out there.
So play it out with me.
Yeah.
Sherwood is 2 seconds. Sherwood has more goals, is a more physical player on a cheaper contract, but without the term. And, of course, had no trade protection. O'Connor, I think the term makes him more attractive. The trade protection limits the market a little bit.
Yeah.
Fewer goals, fewer hits. A second and a third for O'Connor.
Yeah, I think it's probably doable. Okay. Yeah.
And, of course, we're also asking this in the vein of Adam Foote taking that run at his veterans on Monday night, aforementioned. I thought this was really interesting. And maybe we were a little too dismissive of Jake DeBrusk as one of the targets of that Adam Foote screed. Jake DeBrusk telling Ian McIntyre yesterday, honestly, from my experience at Boston, guys were breaking sticks there even when we were winning. I've seen players that I have looked up to my whole career do that in moments of weakness or moments of frustration. So a little pushback there.
Yeah.
Myers pushed back as well. Tyler Myers said, we don't need to make a big deal out of this with a couple of stick slams. Well, Foote said it had been going on for 3 years before he had even joined the team as a coach. But he was just observing them.
Jake is not accounting for frequency here. Everybody's fine with a stick slam every now and then.
Yeah.
Everybody's fine with that. It's not like we're that sensitive. But if it's first period, 5 minutes in every single night, which is what Adam Foote, that's the painting that Adam Foote was putting together there. Well, no, that's not championship behavior. No, I refuse to believe that. Mm-hmm. Or what Jake DeBrusk is saying, they should have won more cups in Boston if it wasn't for them getting so pissy all the time.
And Blake, then there was this, and I got to say, I completely missed this, didn't even consider this. It is very counterintuitive. It is a little conspiratorial. But our friend JC, the Angry Heart Plumber, who is a frequent Sekeres Price contributor and keeps a keen eye on this team, he sent this note my way last night or yesterday. He said, I interpret this so differently. Foote picking his spot to go at the vets. I don't think he has this issue with the veterans. He's sending a message to the kids. I've seen DPD frustrated, Vilander mad, William dejected. He didn't want to pile more on the youngsters, so he used, quote, the vets.
Thicker skin.
A classic coaching maneuver. Wow. Like, that is galaxy brain stuff, JC. And look, is it possible that Foote said, went to some of his veterans, said, hey, guys, just so you know, some of these young kids, their body language, frustration, all this, can't have it. I'm going to take a run at this stuff, but I'm going to do it through the prism of you guys. But I don't mean you guys. I mean the young kids. Because the young kids are going to see me go at you for this stuff, and then they're really going to be shook and scared and rooted out of their game. Hey, if that was the pathway Adam Foote saw to a change of behavior team-wide, he may be a brighter bulb than we gave him credit for this week.
I mean,
do you think there's any chance of that?
It might be, but it certainly didn't get to Myers and DeBrusk. Otherwise, they would have said something differently. Right? Like if they were in on this ruse for the benefit of the young players, they would have said, yeah, no, we've got to be better and show the right things. It would have been a more customary sort of, yeah, everything's okay here in hockey land. But the fact that they pushed back.
Myers downplayed more than pushed back. Well, I guess he did push back.
So, I mean, Foote didn't discount the effect. I mean, he basically did say that quiet part out loud, though. Like, his whole point was the veterans are doing this. The young guys can't be. The subtext is the young guys can't be picking up all these behaviors.
Right.
Like, that was part of it out loud, I think.
Well, maybe when he talked about vets, he was talking about the long shadow, and my God, is it a long shadow of JT Miller, who specialized in this activity.
Yes, so that's probable as well.
Last night after the game, we asked you, given how we called out veterans, and their response tonight, was this Adam Foote's finest moment as Canucks head coach? 82% of you almost said yes. I mean, there haven't been many other fine moments. Canucks snap a club record 11-game losing streak. 4-3 victory over Washington, climbing back from 2-0 down early and getting good efforts and positive bench behavior from veterans on Pride Night. They win their first game calendar year 2026, first win since December 29th, first regulation win in more than a month. The last one was December 19th at the New York Islanders. Besser, DeBrusk, Kampf, all vets. All with 2-point nights. Rookie Tom Villander, an assist and a team best +3. And Filip Hronek with a goal. And he spoke post-game in what many are viewing as some on-the-job training for a potential team captaincy. Now, one of the things that we learned quite quickly when Filip Hronek was traded here from Detroit a few years ago is he was almost never available to Red Wings media. Didn't want to speak. Didn't speak after games. Didn't really feel it was part of his job. And Red Wings reporters over time just stopped asking. Then, of course, he had that unfortunate set two with J-Pat after the season, where Jeff basically threw him a lifeline to explain away his poor play in the second half of the season. Day after day, Canucks reporters in that room would see him with a big wrap on his elbow, knew that there was an injury that he was gutting through, tough guy. And Phil somehow got testy about that.
Turned that into an affront.
Well, but remember, that was also in the vein of Elias Pettersson going on and on about tendinitis and, eye rolls throughout Canucks sports entertainment. So there was a little bit of context that matters.
But he's done a lot more media of late.
But needless to say, he was a grumpy, ornery guy, and people just had the impression, okay, that's who this guy, he's a grumpy, ornery guy. He doesn't play well with others, so at least not non-teammates.
In the last few weeks, he's now done 2 post-game scrums.
Yep.
He's done a Murph walk-off intermission.
Yep.
And last night in particular, and I think the reason why people are seeing it as training is, yes, there were 2 or 3 very short answers in which he just repeated the question back to the reporter. Not gruffly, but did not try to expand on the thought. But there were a couple of decent answers as well.
The bottom line, and I know this can be difficult for some guys, based on their personality, based on their confidence, their comfort, public speaking. Of course, in Hronek's case, you're talking about a second language. He's a Czech. But also the responsibility of speaking on behalf of the room. And last night, Filip Hronek answered the bell on this cause, on this front. So here he is on putting the losing streak behind them.
It's big relief after, I don't know how many losses we had. It's big for, mental side of the things, and just have to keep battling.
Big smile on his face, Blake. Seemed happy, seemed cheery.
Shorter answer, but it was a genuine one.
Yeah,
I'll give him that.
Good on him. Good on him. But this is the sort of process and evolution if you're going to be a frontline NHL player, right?
Yeah.
Because if you are going to be a frontline NHL player, and Filip Hronek has been outstanding this year, one of the things that comes with that territory is that people want to hear from you. People want to see you. People want your 2 cents.
Gave a good answer on what it was like to get Teddy Blueger back. Mm-hmm. A couple of short answers I mentioned. He was asked to talk about the assist from Jake DeBrusk there on your goal. He said it was a nice assist. And that was this. So...
baby steps.
It's not A++, but for him, no. On the bell curve, B+.
No, exactly. Yes. Nobody should be holding him to A++ down. No. O'Connor with his 12th goal, now 3rd on the team behind Pettersson and Sherwood. And, of course, Sherwood ain't getting any more. So, Drew O'Connor, you're in a derby with Elias Pettersson and some others in the chase pack for the team lead in goals. Evander Kane, like Drew O'Connor, has scored in back-to-back games.
I mean, it's not hurting his possibility.
It is not.
Where are you? What's your better than 50-50 that Kane gets traded? Or lower?
I would have put it as lower and much lower not long ago. I have mentioned to you, I believe there's a residual matter from his time in Edmonton that NHL teams are aware of and are looking into, or at least those who would have interest on the trade market would be looking into. There's a lot of history and a lot of baggage with Evander that I think a lot of teams, GMs, would be wary of.
Mm-hmm.
I also think you're talking about a big-bodied winger who, at his best, brings you a physical element, is a good net front player, and maybe makes your bench feel a little taller, huh? But it's a playoff-style game when Evander's at his best. I do think the Canucks would have to retain 50% to make it more palatable, and I don't think you're talking about a huge return.
Getting the fourth rounder back?
I'd be very surprised if they got a second. I think if Evander continues to play well, then maybe you're looking at a third.
And here's the thing. If it's a 3rd or 4th round pick,
you do it.
You do it. And B, if you're the acquiring team, and if a matter from Edmonton does come up, guess what? You've invested a 3rd or a 4th round pick into this. It's no big deal.
Well, they moved out of 4th, Blake. So I think you want to at least get the 4th back or improve.
But I think if something does come up, that would also allow you to probably release the player. Right? If there's a behavioral issue that came up, you'd probably be able to release the player.
You'd have to pay him, but yes, I hear what you're saying.
Well, if it's breaching contract. Anyway, it might – I don't
That's
think –
getting ahead of it.
If the player shows worth, I think there's a team or two maybe that would roll the dice and say, if something comes up, we cut the player loose.
I think he would be a backup plan for a lot of teams.
Yes.
I think that is something that happens closer to the deadline if it happens.
Yeah.
And, of course, his health is going to be a consideration as well, right? We're talking about a guy who did not play a regular season game last year. But a lot of miles on that body, a lot of surgery
this year, though. He's been playing.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But we still got 6 weeks to go before the deadline, so he's got to stay healthy, show that he is still in good physical condition, because the last thing an acquiring team wants to do is to acquire a guy who they have to put on IR, can't count on.
But he's flirting with a half point per game here, and the minute that goal column flips to double digits, I think people start to pay attention.
Yep, I think that's probably right. Kevin Lankinen outduels Logan Thompson in a battle of Olympic netminders. One, of course, Finnish, the other Canadian. And let me just say on behalf of Canada, Logan, get all those bad goals out of your system, son, including one of them last night. Get them all out of your system. We need you tip-top for Milano in the second week of February. I'm sure there are Capitals fans who would disagree, but from the standpoint of Canadian hockey fans, this is going to be our guy, right? So let's hope he's on form when the torch lights in Italy. Yeah. That's the game from last night. We'll touch on another matter, game-related, here in a second. But first, our friends at Yellow Dog Neighborhood, what they up to?
Well, the folks at Yellow Dog want to remind you of the little friends that they have that make such a big difference. I'm talking about the Starborn Kolsch.
Eyeball, Mr. Eyeball.
Goddamn, Mr. Eyeball. Showed a picture of him last week.
I'm sorry, why are we cursing the Lord on this one?
Because Mr. Eyeball is something else.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's, he's a frightening but lovable.
He's a Cyclops.
Yeah, he is. If you missed it, go look it up.
Yeah.
We showed it to you last week. We can't show him again because it scares away viewers. But he won.
Except for cat lovers who think him adorable.
Aardvark, Mr. Eyeball, Ben, and Lizzie are all part of the Make My Pet a Yellow Dog Brewing Star contest. And through the collaborative fundraising event, the BCSPCA has received a total of over $265,000 from Yellow Dog Brewing. Mm-hmm. So everybody raised their Kolsch to Starborn. And the beautiful animals, mostly beautiful animals, supporting the BCSPCA.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Singular eye being the key to focus on.
That's the expression. One eye, not both. Our top story brought to you by Pacific Blue Cross. Tyler Myers opens the door to waiving his no-move clause and facilitating a trade. Good story from Ben Kuzma in the province today. Read the direct quote from Myers and we'll discuss. Quote, everybody knows how much I love it here. There's no question. I want to stay, but obviously I know it's a business. I honestly don't know what Jim and Patrick are thinking. He continued in the article, I have thought of that, obviously, meaning pursuing a championship and what time he has left. Quote, and less runway now that I'm 35. And there may not be many more opportunities as of right now. I have no intention of diving into that world. It's hard to give an in-depth answer because I haven't thought about it much. I'll just keep focusing on doing my job. But as we all know, when NHL players start talking about the lack of runway, I don't know what management is thinking, that is the door opening to the possibility that you would be open to waive that trade protection and go somewhere else. And, of course, there is a very compelling reason why Tyler Myers would want to do that now. And I got to say, I missed this. I should have known better. I had just been told so many times over the years how much Tyler and his family love it here, and particularly because they have a child who has medical needs that are very well serviced by the fantastic community of medical professionals we have here in British Columbia and Vancouver. Of course, he lives in Kelowna in the off-season, so he's a full-time resident of the province. But he goes from a no-move clause to a 12-team no-trade list starting on July 1st, and that's exceptionally key here. Because come July 1st, Myers would not control the process. And the Vancouver Canucks would be free to send him to one of, 19 teams not on his trade list. Right now, with that full no-move clause, he and his agent, J.P. Barry, can more readily choose the destination where he would play next season and who knows, maybe beyond. And, of course, get 2 potential Stanley Cup playoff runs, which would suit the acquiring team better.
And that's where the sentence, I'm sure conversations will happen in the future, but for now, I haven't thought about it too much, is an interesting one. He might be talking about this season. He might be saying the conversations in the future are the ones next year that he is pretty certain. Like, he knows that
they're moving him next year.
Yeah.
That is a fait accompli, and that was cemented after the Hughes trade and then the talk of rebuild and now the Sherwood trade. So it's all crystallizing, and Myers can see the path forward and understand what the game is here.
That's a pretty key distinction, though, in that sentence. When he's saying, I'm sure conversations will happen in the future, does he mean in the next 3 months? Or does he mean post? Well, no, but I mean, is he just thinking post 3 months? Is he thinking post July 1st? I'm sure the conversations will happen.
No, but Blake, as soon as July 1st of this year,
yes,
they are trading him, and maybe not to a place of his choosing.
Yeah, they don't have to have that conversation, I guess is what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah. So the conversation has to be within the confines of the no move.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you're talking about a team that is on the no trade list that shows great interest post July 1st. So that conversation is happening between now and March 6th. Has to be.
Yeah, I think the key thing is
post March 6th, you don't need a conversation with them.
The key point is your first one, though, that if you want ultimate control over where you end up.
Yes.
Moving now
that means accepting a deal by the deadline.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like if he wants to go to the Kraken, where all the medical needs of your children are still at the same place, he could commute.
Yeah.
Point Roberts this.
Although they don't like him very much in Seattle. He is the villain for Kraken.
The only
fans.
villain. Maybe in all of Krakendom. He's
the deepest, darkest depths of whatever ocean the Kraken lives in.
Yeah.
The most wanted poster is nice guy Tyler Myers.
There's a Tyler Myers doll with pins in it in the deepest depths of the ocean.
If only that Kraken could wrap its tentacle around big Tyler Myers.
Yep.
But look, not having a great year. He's, of course, no longer an offensive defenseman, but it's 1-7-8 in 50 games, playing 20 minutes, 16 seconds a night, 46% Corsi at evens.
His possession numbers are way down from the last couple of years where he was a 50% kind of guy. And
I think he's been amongst those who have struggled to adapt to the Adam Foote man-on-man checking system in the defensive zone. I mean, it's for a guy that big, a zonal system allows him just to occupy that space with his size, the big long reach and all that, whereas, a man system, you got to be a little more dexterous, agility, all those things. But we know how teams covet big right shot defensemen in the playoffs. And he is every bit of that, 6'8", 230. Now, the Canucks have always put him forward as a culture carrier and as a conscientious vet. So would they see value in keeping him around through the rebuild? Would Tyler be willing just to
he's the ultimate leader in that regard. I think he is a great guy to have around the process. But again, if there is something of worth there, or if he's part of a bigger deal.
But Blake, you mentioned it yesterday. He sounded off-put.
Yeah.
Rare defensiveness from Myers yesterday when addressing this vet.
He may not love the system either.
Well, he may not love this coaching. He may not love the losing. He may just be done with all things Canucks. We've seen it. Hughes was the most recent example. No, I'm just done with that. Everything that this franchise finds itself in.
Yeah.
So anyways, we have a file here that I didn't necessarily think would be front burner between now and March 6th. I do believe we have a front burner file here in the form of a Tyler Myers trade watch.
Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on for sure. I think he's now on the menu. It's not a front burner file, but I think he's one of those guys that closer to the deadline, people could get very interested in.
Well, answer me this: if he isn't front burner at 35 years old, with again, speculation, but willing to waive the new move for the right team, a destination of his choosing, who would be?
Who's the next guy on the front burner, you mean?
Like, do you think is Kane or Bluger or Kampf, the UFA's more front burner than Myers? I don't think so.
I think O'Connor might be at this point the guy that you are shopping the most right now. Yeah.
Okay.
It might be.
All right.
Eminently tradable.
Again, 12-team no-trade list for
still two-thirds of the league at your disposal.
19 teams.
Something worth pursuing.
God, I really like O'Connor.
Yeah.
Like we had the discussion a few weeks ago. He's a guy I'd be inclined to keep around here and even re-sign. Like from the moment he got here, His skating stood out. He can move. His size stood out, and I don't mean like breadth, because 6'3", 200 isn't the stockiest guy, but given the way he moves, how he skates, his height and his length, he's got the long stick. He just seems to get into spaces and get to pucks that other guys don't.
But he's a late blooming guy, cresting on a career high pace.
Yep. No, I hear you. No, there is absolutely a case.
On that.
There is absolutely a case for moving him, particularly if you get a good offer.
And again, this management group with Joshua, Sherwood, O'Connor, finding the third line winger that needs more time to. They've done a fabulous job with this style of player.
Yes, they have. We'll give them that. Hell, even from within, Linus Karlsson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of it's
maybe even Max Sassone one day. When you get a better center depth chart and Max kicks over. No, I hear you 100%, Blake. I think there is a world and a case to be made for keeping him, but if the right offer comes around, you're hopping on that.
Let me ask you this.
That a smart man.
I think I know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask you anyway. As we get news now that Filip Chytil looks like he's playing tomorrow.
Oh, well.
So our guess was right, I think. He was probably good enough to play yesterday, and they thought, we're not putting you on the ice with Tom Wilson.
Yeah.
If Filip Chytil is fully healthy all the way to the trade deadline, does anybody league-wide take a chance on Filip Chytil?
I don't think so. It's $4.4 million.
You'd have to retain, but that's okay. It's only 1 year left. If you retained on Filip Chytil, is there value there for somebody else?
I just think, how many games between now and the deadline? I just think, like, I would want a larger sample as an acquiring team.
Sure.
He's got, 7 games left before the Olympic trade freeze.
And then 5 more games after that.
So is it 17? How many games total then?
12?
12? Oh, sorry. Yeah, 12. I think if I'm an acquiring team, I would want a bigger sample than that to know he's well.
At 50% retention, it would be interesting. And you know what? It's too bad that I even posit that because I like the style of player that he is.
Blake, if he was a first or even a bona fide second-line player, I could see maybe somebody taking the risk on it, particularly if it's for low trade costs, because I think you could convince yourself we're getting a top 6 player on the cheap. But he's not quite that level of player, right?
No. But again, retention is not a crazy issue here because he's done after next year anyway, and you anticipate being pretty awful next year too. So that is an option.
Could I see a world, a small one?
I am curious as to what Chytil brings to the table, though.
Oh, very much so, and more than anything else. I'm happy for the young man, and I admire him that he's pushing to, as I said earlier in this week, like it's his life. He gets to live it as he chooses to a degree, right? Like I sometimes feel, and it comes from a good place, that you have outside forces, namely fans and media, the greater hockey world, that looks at players like Chytil who have had so many concussions and just, cringes and wants to be overly cautious and all of that. And I completely understand. But of course we did that once with Sidney Crosby, who went on to be okay. And in fact, okay physically, and really freaking good on the ice for a decade plus after all of his concussion issues.
Yeah, I thought he was retiring for sure almost. Like it was.
And when it happens with a player the stature of Sidney Crosby, I think it gives hope and is held up as an example to other players, lesser players, who look at it and go, Sidney took all that time off and came back and not only got to the same level, you could argue even better. I mean, in his late 30s, Sidney.
I almost wonder. No, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody asking this question. But with all these Penguins in the front office, did anybody call back to Sid and say, "Hey, what'd you do? We've got a guy here that needs your help." to continue his career. Like, I wonder if any Sid intel came Chytil's way here.
Yeah.
Might have been helpful.
Now, the other thing we should note is that Sydney took a hell of a lot of time off, right?
Yep.
Like, Chytil's taken, 3 months here? October, November, December, yeah. You go back to Sydney, 41 games in 2010, 2011, 22 games in 2011, 2012, 36. Was that the lockout year?
12-13 was.
Right. So 36 games that year, but that was lockout compromised. So missed a half season, missed 3/4 of a season. That's a lot of time off. Chytil has not taken that degree of time.
Pretty close, though, over the course of the last couple of years. I mean, he's missed a lot of time here, Filip Chytil. He does not have a lot of games on the back of his hockey card over the course of the last 3 seasons. 23-24, 10 games. 24-25, 66 games. And he'll have 6 games plus whatever on his docket for this year.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
What's up with our new friends here?
The fine folks at Pacific Blue Cross. They are willing, as the new kids on the block here at Sekeres and Price, to admit they're going to try to buy your love here early on. They're going to try to win you over by jumping into the pool with the Ultimate Canucks Road Trip Contest. Pacific Blue Cross Travel Insurance, for your chance to see the Canucks take on the Kings in Los Angeles, complete with flights, hotel, lower bowl tickets, and more. No purchase necessary. Contest ends February 28th, 2026. Enter now at pacificbluecross.ca/Canucks.
Sticking with the trade market, Shane Wright is in play. According to the fourth period's David Pinota, who will join us tomorrow, of course, also does the DFO Insider Edition with Irf Gafar on Wednesdays here on the Nation Network. The Kraken are looking to upgrade Pinota. I think with what they've been looking for previously, a legitimate top 6 offensive threat, ideally somebody capable of playing in the top line, the sense that I'm getting is a willingness to move and package up Shane Wright in order to get that. Pinota links the Kraken to St. Louis Blues winger Jordan Kyrou. Interesting. Doug Armstrong was in the building last night, Blues general manager, Canadian general manager. That's what I think people were thinking is, he's here to see Logan Thompson. But, Blues are selling too, so maybe he's there to see some Capitals as well. And maybe he's the Kraken at home. Maybe he pops down to see Seattle here as well. We shall see. Shane Wright, of course, was selected by the Kraken when Ron Francis was general manager, not when Jason Botterill was general manager. It's 17 points in 48 games for Wright. He has taken a step back, but last year was 19 goals, 44 points in 79 games as a 21-year-old. He's 22 and a right shot center who's good defensively. Look at the player card here in the defensive now in an easier role. He's not getting the tough matchups, but a two-way center. The 4th pick overall in 2022, and you'll remember that was sort of a hodgepodge at the top of the draft class of players.
He spent much of that year as a number 1 pick in a lot of drafts.
That's right, and then the Montreal Canadiens passed to go Juraj Slafkovsky, and Wright fell all the way to 4 and gave that glare to the Habs draft table as he was walking up on stage. Now, Blake, in terms of profile, this is exactly the sort of player the Vancouver Canucks should be looking at. Center, big need for center. Right shot center, even more rare. High pedigree, two-way potential. I realize they're having a poor year. This may very well be a steal here because of the managerial change in Seattle, not being the GM's guy. Because the Kraken feel like they have to do something to be more relevant in the Seattle sports scene this year after basically having one of the quietest, most blasé franchise launches and honeymoon periods you can think of. I mean, there's already empty seats in Seattle. Connor Garland in the mix here. I know Garland probably wouldn't qualify as a first-line player for Seattle.
Connor Garland and Tyler Myers. To go back to our previous conversation,
I would do that.
I'll say this. Oh, absolutely. I'll say this about Wright. If you deleted last year, which was a very good year, deleted last year.
There's a lot of concern.
Well, no, I don't know that there is, Matt. Honestly.
Really? Because he was up and down. They yo-yoed him. I mean, he's basically the reason why we're going to have 19-year-olds playing in the AHL next year.
He had 2 8-game spells. Remember, they somehow got him down to Coachella Valley for conditioning stints or something like that in his rookie year. And he was very good there. Nothing wrong with his draft +1 at all. Draft +2, he gets another 8-game look. He scores 4 goals and gets 1 assist before he's sent down, and then goes and is almost a point a game. He's 47 points in 59 games in the AHL. Again, nothing wrong with that.
Fair.
And then if you delete last year and make this his first full year in the NHL, you're not setting the world on fire. But if this was his first full rookie season, this was his Calder eligible year, and he's got 7 goals, 10 assists in his rookie year, you're like, I wish it was a little bit more, but you're not writing him off.
No.
You know, like you're just like, okay, it's his rookie year. It's a little bit like Bo Horvat's kind of rookie year. You know, you're like, there's more there. He's figuring it out, but not a disaster.
It is 75 points in 103 AHL games for a guy who is awfully young for the level.
Who just turned 22 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
It's 68 points in 44 NHL games. So he's just shy of a half-point per game player in the NHL, again, as a super young player.
Like all this accomplished as a 21-year-old.
Canucks should be all over this. We'll talk to Pinota about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Time now for Crave the Stats, brought to you by Uber Eats. And I was struck by this stat last night from TSN's Stats Center before the Capitals-Canucks game. The league's poorest home team, thanks to a dreadful 4-14-3 record, it has gotten better. Blah, blah, blah. Dating back 50 seasons, their home points percentage sits tied for 6th worst on the list of NHL teams. And Blake, context matters here. These are 3 expansion-era Ottawa Senators teams, which are in the running for worst teams ever.
Worst expansion teams in any sport, any planet.
Washington Capitals, and they qualify on that. They're on that short list as well. That's a tanking Pittsburgh Penguins team trying to get Mario Lemieux. And that's another horrible expansion-era team, San Jose Sharks. There is context and reason why every single one of these teams garnered less than 30% of the points available
all of
to them.
Them began these respective seasons knowing they were going to be terrible.
Well, they would be horseshit.
Yeah.
The Vancouver Canucks are the only team on this list that were trying to be good and failed so spectacularly.
They're the only ones that went into that season saying, maybe we're top 3 in our division.
Every one of these teams knew they weren't making the playoffs. Yeah, exactly. Now, with the win last night, Canucks up to 5-14-1 on home ice.
They are red hot.
So that's a 275 points percentage up from the 262 you just saw in the graphic. And for the season ticket holder who has made all 20 home games this year, and particularly if you made the lion's share of last year when they were a dreadful home team, God, you needed that. We're happy you got that. We have a friend who's going every second night during this home season. She said to me, I basically live at Rogers Arena for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's an awful
lot. And you're paying for the privilege, and you're not just paying for the game ticket. You're paying for your concession. You're paying for your parking or your transportation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. Tomorrow's a game day, and, of course, they have the great game day specials at Uber Eats.
You have to download the app, though.
You better download
You can't just scream it into the air.
I have the app. The app is, it's the easiest, best app.
Matt, without a word of a lie, I used Uber Eats last night for game day. Without a lie. Mm-hmm. I went pizza.
Mm-hmm.
It was 30% off.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's a great deal. And I was home alone. I did not feel like cooking for one. It's really pointless to cook for one.
There you go. The McDonald's. I'm seeing the promo right here. The buy one, get one at McDonald's.
There you go. Whatever your fancy, you'll find it on Uber Eats, assisting with hockey fans' dreams all season long. Even when your team is losing, you're winning with Uber Eats.
I hope Mike didn't freak out. I damn near pulled my top box off its moorings there. I'm sorry.
I think you would have been okay.
I'm rough on the equipment.
Sure.
Steve Baines sent back down to make room for Teddy Bluger yesterday, but it's high time Jonathan Lekrimaki get back up. The 2022 first-round pick of the Vancouver Canucks with the OT winner last night for Abbey as they beat Laval. 14 points in 14 AHL games this season for the Swedish winger, 47 points in 72 career AHL games for Jonathan Lekrimaki. Now, we know hasn't been as good in the NHL, of course, 8 points in 32 games, 4 goals. But we know he's amongst, if not the most natural goal scorer in the Vancouver Canucks organization and available to them right now. And that's great that Filip Chytil is coming back, Blake. But I think you've got to make room for Lekrimaki at some point here. Some of these guys are not going to be around when you're good again. Mm-hmm. Lekrimaki needs to be one of those pieces. You need a scoring winger. He's got to be your scoring winger.
Can you not scoff at me when I mention somebody else? Can you not scoff at me, please?
Are you talking about whoever they choose with their first overall pick or with the first pick?
No. And this after I left this prospect for dead at the beginning of the season.
You're not.
Do you know who has 9 points in his last 10 games?
Danila Klimovich?
Danila Klimovich.
Had an assist last night on a Ty Mueller goal.
He is in every box score to look at these days. He's been he was not getting ice time early in the year at all. But because of injuries, he eventually started to get some ice time. And guess what? He's gotten better. And the other guess what is he just turned 23 a week ago. Is it too late for Danila Klimovich?
No, it's not. It's not.
He was so raw. When they drafted him, they said he's a raw ball of clay. Well, it takes you a while to sculpt the raw balls. So 9 points in 10 games. That's a decent sample size for him to be playing at that level.
Tell me I'm wrong. Klimovich plays NHL games this season.
That's a great shot late in the season because
they'll be horrible.
And they don't really know what he looks like at this level. He's not played an NHL game yet.
I think they have a guess that he's woefully inequipped to play the defensive side of the puck in the NHL.
Completely, but he's got absolute every physical tool to do it.
Not a small kid.
So do you guard how you use him, but see what he's got?
You have nothing to lose.
No.
Towards the end of the year, throw him in a game.
And at this point, he is 23. So
yeah. He's young doesn't cut it anymore.
No, protecting him, don't protect him.
No. And if he fails out, because the other thing is he going to really want to go back to Abbotsford next year?
No.
That'll be what, year 5?
No, I think
Abbotsford?
He's back home next year, probably.
If he doesn't get the sense he can play, he's got a chance to play in the NHL next year for a rebuilding Canucks team.
Yeah.
I think you're going back to Europe, right?
I think without a doubt. He's an RFA, so this would be his exit year.
Yeah.
So he's done. So you might as well give him 10 games at the end of the year, just in case he surprises you.
And speaking of the Abbey Canucks, they're finally getting their rings at a ceremony at Rogers Arena this afternoon. Nice touch doing it on an off day when both teams are at home, so the returning players and the graduating players can both participate. If only it didn't take until
Jan 22.
Checks notes, January 22nd, the 4th month of the subsequent season to get this done. I'm beginning to think Canuck Sports Entertainment dropped the ball on this one, Blake. I'm beginning to think they didn't want to have to pay for Calder Cup championship rings.
And the first thing that we heard too about them was a couple days ago that it was going to be available this week.
But it's a very elaborate ring. They wanted to make sure they got the design just right.
And when you know you're being criticized for something, don't you want to shout this from the hills? Like, even though it's a closed-door event, don't you want to say, hey, guys, look it, we're coming through here. In a week's time, we're going to put on a great party for these players, give them nothing.
I think they are absolutely terrified of this and blowback from some of these players, and that's why it's closed door, because otherwise, why wouldn't you invite the public?
Isn't that kind of the point?
Well, that's it. Like, especially the Abbotsford public who supported you through your Calder Cup run last year.
Apparently, Cody Severson correcting me on this, says that these ring ceremonies are largely private.
Well, there are
annals of time.
So there are oftentimes the ring ceremony is the night before the banner ceremony.
Yeah. Yes.
So the players get the rings in private, and then the next day the fans participate and are celebrated with the banner.
Yes. Yeah, the banner championship raising is...
But the fact that the Canucks don't want to put this in lights tells me...
They've done things out of order again.
They may be feeling just a smidge of guilt that they had the whole hockey world go, are you kidding me?
I know. I haven't seen any pictures of the rings yet. They are under a little bit of pressure to make sure they're decent as well.
The elaborate design. These things better...
they better pop.
These better be the blingiest blings that ever blinked.
Yeah.
At the AHL Calder Cup
The jewels
level.
on this better look like a ring pop.
Absolutely.
Right.
These things better be so beautiful you can sell replicas, and maybe that way you finance the rings. And then lastly, Blake, we got to shout out an old friend here in the Vancouver media and one of your former broadcast partners way back when. But Bill Wilms, color analyst for the WHL's Vancouver Giants, has posted to social media today saying he and his wife have decided that this will be his swan song after 25 years of doing Giants radio, saying an incredible number to end an incredible journey with an incredible team. He's talked about what these 25 years have meant to him. He's 83 years old now, Billy. He doesn't sound it. He doesn't look it, and he sure doesn't golf it. My God, the guy could shoot his age, sub his age. Billy Fairways. But he talked about how this opportunity made him a better man, a better person. Talked about how he's humbled by the trust the Giants put into him to promote their brand, be one of their faces, one of their voices here in the community, and that thank yous will never be enough to express his feelings, the treasured memories, and everything that the team, as he put it, poured into my life. And then he signed off saying, I knew I would be emotional writing this. Now let's push this Giants team into the playoffs.
I didn't know how old he was when I worked with him. I did 2 years as a Giants play-by-play guy. And doing the math now, he was 70 when I was working with him and did not behave as such.
No.
Much energy.
He started the gig in his late 50s.
So much energy.
Mm-hmm. Tons of energy.
Yeah, we did a road trip up to Kamloops, and I let him drive in a snowstorm. I mean, like that. He had a lot of fun. Great guy, and he had already been on the job for so long when I joined in, and I had not really been a regular play-by-play guy yet at that point. And he was very patient with any learning speed bumps I had and helped me become the guy that I am today, the broadcaster that I am. So big thanks to Billy. Thanks for the patience, and you definitely made me better, so I appreciate that.
He's been exceedingly kind in all the personal interactions that I've had with Bill over the years. I absolutely love his fire, his enthusiasm, his passion. It shines so through. Nobody does a pregame like Billy Wilms. When he gets into it, he starts opening that notebook and talking about all the different storylines he wants to talk to going into a Giants game and in the intermissions and whatnot. I love that he cares so much. You can hear some of the frustration when things aren't going well for the Giants. He wants to kick them in the butt. A few years ago, I went to the big golf exposition in Abbotsford. And I was at one of the displays, and I was buying a clothing item or two. And the kid who was helping me out says, you're Sakaris, right? Yeah. And he goes, well, I just want to let you know I'm Bill Wilms' grandson. And I said, oh, my gosh, blah, blah, blah. And I said to him, when I think of your dad, I think of Giants Radio, or your grandpa, I think of Giants Radio, but I also think of golf because, gosh, Bill is outstanding. He
developed a coupon book, folks, that many of you have used over the years for local rounds.
Yeah. And I said to him, by the way, have you ever beaten Grandpa on the golf course? He goes, no, not even close. He goes, neither is my dad, neither are my uncles. So anyways, Billy, happy Trezor. We'll have Bill on the show before the Giants season is done and say personal goodbyes.
And feel free to take us golfing.
Well, he's going to have a lot more time. Bill, all those coupons. Hey, two of us, you bring a buddy, we got a force.
There we go.
Time now for our menu, brought to you by Greta. Fantastic spot to catch all the games home and away. Your steps from the stadium or the arena. If you're booking an event, whatever it is, team party, family reunion, workplace, after work, 5 à 7, as they call it in Quebec, when the whole office goes out from 5 to 7. Check out Greta. Awesome spot. Great menu of food. Something for everyone. Arcade with some really cool games. And right downtown here, 50 West Cordova. GretaBar.com for more info to book your event. Let the games begin. Jeff Merrick's going to join us. We spent a good half hour with Jeff Merrick on calling out veterans, the trade for Sherwood, interest in Tyler Myers, and second-round picks historically. We're going to dare to dream here on second-round picks after the Sherwood deal. Later in the program, look forward to that Seahawks-Rams NFC Championship game. And holy cow, is there a stat that paints this Seahawks team in an incredible light, in a historic light in National Football League history. We'll get into the baseball. The Blue Jays missing out on targets. A hell of a revealing column about Bo Bichette. Some soccer news in there, as well as the golf, where Adam Hadwin is on the comeback trail, and the tennis as well from Down Under. That's all coming up on the program today. Well, got a win with the Canucks last night, Blake.
You did, huh?
At plus 140. I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he says, that Broncos defense is good enough at home against let's face it, inexperienced Patriots team that till we got to the playoffs hadn't really beaten many good teams in the NFL. And he was basically making the case for Sean Payton, Super Bowl winning coach, with that defense, despite the fact Jared Stidham is going to play quarterback. And I went, yep, I think there's a world where they could win this game. Absolutely cannot see them beating the NFC champion with Jared Stidham. But is there a world where they win this game? Yeah, I can see it. And I anticipated seeing a spread where I was laying something in the order of a touchdown to take New England. It's 4.5. I just can't go Denver. Just 4.5 with a guy who hasn't thrown a pass since 2023? Singletary. Can't do it. Won't do it. Pats, minus 4.5.
I don't know if you noticed that Stuart Skinner is back in Alberta, only they're not going to give him the Oilers start. He played last night versus Calgary, and he was very good, helping them to a 4-1 victory.
Incidentally, Delta's Tristan Jarry has stabilized things there a little bit.
Yeah, he has. But I do think the Penguins will want to win this one for Stuart Skinner. I don't know if that was a cagey move. We know Skinner's an emotional guy. Not playing him versus the Oilers was probably a sage move, even though it might seem rude, but he played again.
Well, they knew him in practice, and they, needless to say, saw a lot of goals go in on him.
Yeah. So it's going to be Shilovs versus the Oilers.
And we know Shilovs has done pretty well against Edmonton.
So
just those shots from distance.
I'm taking them on the money line.
Yep, I like it.
Plus 145 on the Penguins to win one for Skinner in Edmonton.
The other thing I like about that is, and he would never admit it, but if you're Sydney, you're okay. Connor's on the other side.
Yep. By the way, that goaltending tandem is the hottest one in the NHL in the last
Oilers?
month. The Penguins.
Oh, the Penguins.
Shelovs and Skinner have been very good.
This segment of presentation of Bet365, whatever your bet, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app, get in on the game, use code NATION when doing so. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. Jeff Merrick, next. Harrison Price from the historic Wall Center and the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studio built by Arborlee.
Yeah, the segment brought to you by your Pacific Toyota dealers and the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid, guaranteed. There's a Toyota commercial right now that's a nostalgic thing, and somebody has a Prius, and then years go by, and their friends come back together.
This is the OG.
That in that commercial, it's the OG.
Well, Toyota is the OG in this space.
Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a mistake because I saw them I'm like, wow, they kept it's an old Prius. They moved on from the Prius. I'm like, oh, it's nostalgia. It's the same one from the childhood. I get it now. They're saying that the cars last forever. That's the gist of the ad. I was like, so you buy your Prius today, it'll be the car picking up your kids years down the road.
I've owned 3 Toyotas in my life. Every time I bring it to the mechanic, they say, it's great. The engine will go forever.
So get your forever car, the brand new 2026 Toyota plug-in Prius with its 72 kilometers of electric range. You can lease one right now, the SC from $109 weekly at 3.99% APR for 64 months. That's with $3,300 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or take one for a test drive at your local Pacific Toyota dealer.
Jeff Merrick is a hockey aficionado. He hosts The Sheet daily on the Nation Network and typically joins us Friday, but he's engaged tomorrow, so he was kind enough to come on in a day early. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing aficionado. What does that mean?
You may know and love hockey more than anyone I know knows and loves hockey.
But
you and
McGuire,
when you and McGuire are together, I'm like, those might be
ridiculous.
The 2 most hockey guys I know.
It's like, first of all, I love being on with Pierre because when you put together a rundown for your show, all you're doing is you're planning the backup plan. Because the first plan is just go like snakes and ladders.
Say hi, turn on the mic.
And that's really all it is. And you start going, and next thing you know, you're talking about the 1972 Chicago Blackhawks. Here's the thing about loving hockey, and I always remind everybody about this. Players, I remind this to my kids all the time too. There's a great old saying that someone told me a long time ago, and it goes like this: hockey will never love you back. Take out of it all that you can, right? At the end of the day, hockey's going to find a reason to kick you out, and it will, and it's never going to love you back as much as you love it. So use it to have new experiences, meet new people, start new friendships, create memories that will last forever. Because at the end of the day, gentlemen, hockey will never love you back.
It's finite. It is finite. And good segue, because that brings us to Tyler Myers of the Vancouver Canucks, who has loved him and played him some hockey over the years, but he will be 36 years old next week, or a week from Sunday. And while there's just not a lot of runway left for the big fella. Yeah. And in a story with Ben Kuzma in the province today, he has opened the door to a trade. He's got a full no-move clause. There are specific family needs that we have always been aware of as to why Tyler and his family are here for one of his children. But he lives in Kelowna now, so he's a full-time British Columbian. But he's opened the door. So you tell me, what do you think? You got teams lining up for a 6'8", 230-pound right-shot defenseman?
Yeah, a lot of teams headed to the playoffs, some right on the bubble that could use Tyler Myers, who, we believe have perhaps been interested before, and I don't think that interest has gone away. Just as a quick aside, that age still staggers me because I can still remember Tyler Myers, Kelowna Rockets, and I remember specifically in his draft year. His draft year, he was going through this massive growth spurt. So depending on when you saw Tyler Myers play, he was either, this guy's going to be a first-round pick, or this guy doesn't know how to play hockey. Well, maybe that's a little bit too extreme, but I think you know what I'm getting at here. It's always awkward to see guys that big going through another growth spurt in their draft year, and that was Tyler Myers. And I remember thinking, I still use this as an example, how frustrating it must have been for him in that really, really crucial year where you start to wake up and get up in the morning and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with these limbs. And what I did with these limbs yesterday, I can't do with these limbs. And it must have been this frustrating process of relearning hockey every few weeks as Tyler Myers got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Have you ever seen a defenseman develop? Have you ever seen a defenseman develop like this, Jeff, where, he bursts into the league, puts himself in the Calder race, a 50-point defenseman basically in his rookie year. And then that's the last time where he's really an offensive defenseman. He's a 25 to 30-point defenseman the rest of his career.
Yeah, I know it really is a unique one. Like when we're going to look back at the history of Tyler Myers, whenever he decides to call it a career, that's going to be the weird one. It's kind of like, and they were sort of in and around the same era in some regards too. It's kind of like Dion Phaneuf in some ways, in that when Dion Phaneuf and we can all remember that first year. I think Calgary paired him with Roman Hamrlik, and we were all saying the same thing.
God.
Yep. We're like, this guy shoots like Al McInnes and he hits like Scott Stevens. Yes. This is the perfect defenseman. Like they're like, get the plaque ready at the Hall of Fame. Like all of it for Dion Phaneuf. And then he just sort of settled into what Dion Phaneuf, and he's still a really good player, was going to turn into. I always have a positional bias with defensemen too, just as an aside too. If it's equal, I was the guy that would have taken Doughty over Stamkos. I'm the guy that would have taken Hedman over Tavares. I always default to blue lines. But to the original question, will there be teams interested? Yeah, absolutely. A couple top of mind. I would wonder initially about, listen, man, they're one of the hottest teams in the NHL right now, and that's the Utah Mammoth. Like the Utah Mammoth were poised to take a big swing at blue liners in the offseason. I personally believe that would he have gotten to market, that Aaron Ekblad would have been offered a massive contract by Utah in the offseason, thereby making, Mikhail Sergachev and Aaron Ekblad the number one pair in Utah. Not exactly a secret, I don't think, that they're probably looking for another defender. He could make some sense there in a second pairing role, move John Marino down. The Detroit Red Wings, even though I think they're looking more for a left shot D than a right shot D, I can see the Detroit Red Wings, who are probably one top 6 forward and one top 4 defenseman away from being a true contender. I know the knock on Detroit is, they're all power play. It's all power play, 5-on-5. They struggle. I think Yzerman's looking to remedy that right now. And the couple of other teams, Dallas, I believe, has had interest before. I would imagine that may not have gone away. Rather, Jim Nill needs to do something with that team, who've just, outside of their last game, just had a really hard time scoring. And the other team is the Toronto Maple Leafs. As your Chris Tanev.
OEL hurt now too, right?
And
wow.
So that hurts. So not only does that hurt the Maple Leafs, but you got to feel bad for Sweden at the Olympics. Half the roster is decimated, and there's question marks around all of it. So those would be the ones that would jump out at me. As you mentioned, he does control his fate here with the 12-team no trade. So, but there is, and there will continue to be, if he's amenable to it, significant interest for Tyler Myers.
He's also, days after the Kiefer Sherwood trade, he's not too dissimilar in that you get a lot for a little here. This late in the season, on a $3 million contract, I mean, you do not need a ton of cap space here to fit him in. No. I mean, you'd think most teams would be interested in adding this exact player. Now, he's got the term, which makes it a little bit different. Does that mean you get more, or is that a plus or a negative for a guy of his age?
You get more. You get more.
Even at his age,
you still get more. Like, this guy's a top four NHLer. Like, here's another team. I'll just do this off the top of my head too. Again, this is based on nothing than just sort of wondering here. What about Seattle? What about the Seattle Kraken? Like, it's one of those teams that we look at and we say, like, we don't really know who they are exactly. They're a team that can go take 9 steps backward, but then take 7 steps forwards at times. Could Tyler Myers be a fit there? So he still kind of stays closer to BC here.
There is not a rivalry between the Canucks and the Kraken yet.
Not yet.
There is only one player that the Seattle Kraken have ever hated on the Vancouver Canucks. Jeff Merrick, it is Tyler Myers.
Believe it or not.
He is public enemy.
But he's played physically,
you know what, though?
and dirty
in
against
this
him. It's
era,
hilarious.
In this era too, like, let's not forget here. I don't know if you guys still squint really hard when you see Ryan Reeves in the San Jose Sharks jersey. And, Vegas Golden Knights fans have to squint pretty hard to see that. Or when Peter DeBoer went to go coach in Vegas. Like, I know this isn't like the Nordiques and the Habs or the Oilers and the Flames and the Rangers and the Islanders. I do understand. But at the end of the day, I think if you're Jason Botterill, you don't worry about the fans booing if you have a chance to get someone
We asked years after 2011, would you take Brad Marchand on your team? And people eventually got around to being, we would do it.
Yeah, of course you would. Of course you would.
Let me say a couple things here about Tyler Myers. Number one, I think he can thank Zdeno Chara for proving that the oversized defenseman can really play and excel in this league. We used to think Larry Robinson was the biggest of big birds, right? Well, 6'3", 220, and then along comes Chara, and these guys who are 6'7", 6'8", look like basketball players. And, of course, Tyler Myers' brother, Quentin Grimes, is a basketball player with the Philadelphia 76ers and shorter than Tyler Myers at 6 foot.
He wishes he had Tyler's height.
If you don't know the story here with Tyler, his dad was involved in the oil industry in Calgary and Houston, Texas. So he's a dual national. And his parents split. His mom got remarried, stayed in suburban Houston. So the Dallas Stars, well, believe it or not, there is a connection to the state of Texas from with Tyler Myers. I can remember speaking to his dad before the 2009 World Juniors, who was adamant that his boy was a Canadian because he could have played for the United States. That was the other thing. In that 09 World Juniors, on a pairing with another jumbo defenseman, Keith Ollie, they really struggled defending for Pat Quinn, the head coach. I can remember talking to some scouts going, ooh, these super tall defensemen, they better be able to move laterally, make the turn, defend, blah, blah, blah. It's not just in the corners and open ice. I worry about them a little bit with their agility. Well, he has proved himself to be an NHL player and an outstanding one with 1,000 games here.
It's a really good point about Chara. And one of the things I always wonder about, kind of like Eric Lindros previous, how many other defensemen did Zdeno Chara get paid? Because once Zdeno Chara hit, everybody wanted their massive defenseman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they didn't care if it was a project. They would invest money because, listen, everyone in Prince George saw him playing junior with Stan Butler. And then he got to the Islanders, like, not ready for prime time. And then into the Ottawa Senators. And then, of course, popped with the Boston Bruins and won the Stanley Cup. But a lot of guys got paid because teams were willing to invest time and money and resources into large defensemen finding their Chara, not unlike how Eric Lindros, and I'll think of a guy like Chris Gratton right away, who I believe went 3rd overall and got paid oodles of money because, much like Eric Lindros, and I would maintain Jean Beliveau before him, he was a big guy that could move his feet. And all of a sudden, every big guy who could move his feet. I know we talked about Jim Sandlack on this program not too long ago, but there's another one. Big guys that could move their feet all of a sudden got paid because everybody was looking for their Eric Lindros.
Did you catch any of this Alexander Karmanov for the North Bay Battalion this year, the 7-footer?
He's massive. Absolutely insane. It's it is a little bit striking, but here's the thing too. Like, we're in an era right now where, and you see it, like there's a kid, I can't remember his name. So my one son plays U16, and there's a kid that plays at Upper Canada College. This is his OHL draft year, who is 6'6", U16, and can move. Like, once upon a time, like, these guys were stick men and they couldn't move. But now, with the way players are trained and how dialed in they are, all of a sudden you're seeing bigger and bigger and bigger guys who can move. It's funny too. I remember Steve Yzerman said this coming out of the lockout of 2005. He said, because we all thought, they say, okay, getting rid of the hooking and the holding, this is going to be great. So the little guy's going to have more time and space in the NHL, and there's going to be more, smaller players and fly zone with the bugs and all that. And Yzerman said, hold on a second here. So we're going to let big guys go to the net without getting slashed and hooked and held? Like, everyone thinks this is great for the little guys. This is a bonanza for the big guys. If anything, coming out of the lockout 2004-05, it was great for the big guys. Now, there is still a saying, and I still subscribe to this, and you guys have probably heard this before. In hockey specifically, a small player has to prove he can play, and a big player has to prove that he can't.
Right. Yeah.
And that is still true and continues to get reinforced. But now we're seeing more and more big guys that can play. Again, like, I watched this kid at UCC, and it's insane. It's I don't know. Like, I still go to rinks and I marvel at the skill. And all
Can we move on to culture here?
Yeah, well, let's move on to culture. Just one thing.
Sure.
Myers' contract is slightly front-loaded, so he's only 2.3 in actual cash next year. When you're talking about the term being attractive to teams, that's also attractive to teams.
Another one of your favorite topics, hockey culture and in the room. And Adam Foote.
They don't flood the room, Blake.
No, exactly. Adam Foote bringing up the slamming of gates and sticks and attitudes, and then they answer with one of their best gut check sort of games of the season. They're down 2-0 after giving up 2 quick goals, and the veterans helped to lead them back. Mm-hmm. So do we coronate Adam Foote as full-blooded NHL coach now after he has his moment in the sun?
First of all, Washington Capitals are a good team. Washington Capitals still need some help right now. And as the season goes on, a lot of the holes, like Chris Patrick's got a job here, and he's already talked about needing a top 6 winger, and I think Robert Artemi Panarin there. With the Caps, but that was a
Jeff. Let's not nitpick Canuck wins. We're not nitpicking Canuck wins here.
I have to stop you there. Yeah, Blake and I are on the same wavelength.
Okay, Evander Kane meant to score that opposition. Goal. Okay,
they are a sanctioned member of the National Hockey League, and for the Vancouver Canucks, that is a great win.
2 points.
In fact, they will take a win over the Bakersfield Condors, the North Bay Battalion, the Frolunda whatevers.
Listen, I get it. It's the old saying, never critique a win. I get it. It was a good win. And listen, Justin Sordiff is it Richmond? Is he from Justin Sordiff from Richmond scored as well? So even something to celebrate from the visiting squad as well. Yes, that was. Listen, it was a gutsy win. Make no mistake about it, because on that 5-on-3 early in the first period, when the Capitals are firing the biscuit, you're thinking to yourself, okay, this Vancouver Canucks team is going to start spinning, and they're not going to stop spinning until the final buzzer, but they didn't. So 100% kudos. I don't know if it had anything to do with Adam Foote talking about culture and Jake DeBrusk slamming gates, and I don't know. I think it was this team was not going to continue to lose games, and I think we looked at the 11-game losing streak and said, you know what, it ended sometime. It's got to end sometime.
Yeah.
And good on the. You're right. Good on the Canucks, because they could have folded tent. down 2 Cobb early. It's not going to be there, boys. And you fold up, but they didn't. Good on them. Good on them.
Justin Serta from Richmond, Surrey Minor Hockey, Delta Hockey Academy, and the Vancouver Giants. I mean, you touch them all, Justin.
They say you say that it was going to come to an end eventually. Early Easter egg for you. Okay. Longest winless streak in the NHL ever.
Didn't we talk this last week?
Winless?
Yeah.
Was it not? Was it Washington 74?
Nope. A little later. It's my team. If that helps you.
Oh boy.
Oh geez, I don't know who Blake's team is. Who's your team?
Yeah,
Blake?
he grew up in Winnipeg, Jeffrey. And,
is it the Jets?
Yeah.
Holy 30 games?
30 games.
80, 81.
How many ties? How many ties?
30 without
Doesn't
a
matter.
win?
30 games. Imagine.
I will look up the ties.
That's how they got Dale Hawerchuk, because it was the year before his draft.
Yeah.
That they were they tanked for Ducky, and boy did they ever.
Oh my God.
30 games.
Was it an 82 game schedule? How many games did they play back then?
No, that might have been. Was it 76?
Yeah,
I think it was 76 back then.
No, it was 80. No, it was 80.
80
back then. 88 0. 30.
3/8 of the season.
Yeah.
Oh, a fair number of ties though.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you know what?
3,
nobody.
4,
Listen,
5,
hang on. Nobody
6,
was crying for Winnipeg because we just saw them win the Avco Cup. No one was crying for Winnipeg because they were still, high on the supply of the Avco Cup victory over the Edmonton Oilers. So no one was crying from that season. Then they got one of my favorite players of all time.
Oh, he was so fun to watch. Like,
man, I loved him.
Wasn't big, couldn't really skate, but holy cow! In the half court, there were few better than Ducky.
Can I tell a couple of quick stories? Well, one quick story about Dale Hawerchuk that I think everyone who knows him and followed him or just wants a story about one of the great players. So when he coached Barrie and Tanner Pearson, I talked to Tanner Pearson about this. I talked to a couple of other guys. So his big thing was, if you're going to make the move, if you make the jump from junior to the NHL, you're not going to have a lot of time and space. You're going to need to be able to get the puck away fast. You're going to you have to be able to get the puck off your stick quickly. The room you have in junior, you're not going to have in the NHL. So he would do practice with guys shooting blindfolded and just get them the puck, and they had to instinctively know where the net was and shoot it. And that's what Ducky used to do when he was a kid in his driveway. And the legend always was that he could tell the difference when he shot the puck by the sound. He could tell whether he hit the post or the crossbar. So many people have told me that. I asked his son about it too. He goes, "Yeah, Dad, you used to always tell us about this one." Like, that's how tuned in Dale Hawerchuk was. He could tell you, nope, that was crossbar. Nope, that was post. Nope, that was post. He could tell the difference in the sound that the puck made.
This Jets team
Hawerchuk was the best, man. I loved him.
This Jets team should have been a Tragically Hip song. They won the third game of the season against the Blackhawks October 17th. They didn't win another till December 23rd. The Rockies of Colorado. Yeah, exactly.
Till December 23rd.
The Rockies of Colorado.
Wow.
Dun, dun. Okay, Sherwood, they didn't get their first round pick. I was with you, buddy. I was with you every step of the way on Sherwood, and yet they got two second rounders. Evaluate the trade for me.
First of all, I don't think you surrendered 2 second round picks. First of all, if you would have told me the other day when Kiefer Sherwood was traded that the San Jose Sharks just traded 2 second round picks, what do you think they got for that? My answer would have been, well, they got a cost-controlled veteran defenseman. That would have been my answer, because that's the going rate for a cost-controlled, veteran defenseman in the NHL. I don't know that Mike Greer surrenders 2 second round pick without the idea that they're re-signing this guy. They're going to take a good, healthy run at re-signing Kiefer Sherwood. Now, a couple of things. One, it's a reward. So great job, guys. And then getting into late January, you're in a playoff spot. You become one of the most exciting teams in the NHL to watch. Appointment television, must-see TV, all these types of things. Here's your cookie for doing that. And two, now the expectations are raised. Now we've gotten you help. Now we expect playoffs here. or at least a significant run all the way to game 82. And I'll tell you what, like, I don't think Mike Grier is done. I know they still don't have that stud on the blue line. I get it. And they may just have to trade for it. Unless Sam Dickinson can, accelerate his development and become that guy sooner than some other defenseman of his better pedigree have in the past. But I don't think that Mike Grier's done. I think this is a reward for this team being arriving somewhere quicker than I think the organization thought they were going to arrive at this stage in January. And from a Vancouver point of view, if again, like everything that Vancouver does, I'm going to judge by and this is their own words, rebuild is 2 to 3 years. 2 second-round picks is going to help you in 2 to 3 years.
There was a stud defenseman available very recently if they had wanted one.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're willing to pay that price.
Yeah.
I got a note from an old friend of ours here, Eric Curry, who does the Teal Town USA podcast blog. You'll love this story, Jeff. He's just a massive hockey fan in San Jose, and the local sports talk in the Bay Area didn't talk a lot of Sharks. So he used to listen to us daily, and of course the Canucks and Sharks had a pretty good rivalry at the time.
Yeah.
And he was a little surprised that it wasn't defenseman as well. And I told him, I'm just surprised that they would acquire a UFA. Now, I suspect they're going to re-sign him, but wow, this is very, very early for Mike Grier and the Sharks. Okay, we're on.
Hang on, can I throw a quick Easter egg to you guys before you go to the official Easter egg?
Yes, absolutely.
San Jose and Vancouver have one thing, well, a few things, but one notable thing in common. The first player to score a goal for the San Jose Sharks is an ex-Canuck. Who is that player?
Oh, gosh. First player to score.
Igor Larionov?
Nope.
Was he a Canuck before he was a Shark? Wasn't like Doug Bodger or something, was it?
No, he was. The hint is where Larionov was skilled, this player was equally tough. Think Bob Probert fight.
Oh, shit. Wasn't Cox,
Craig Cox?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Craig Cox scored the first goal for the San Jose Sharks?
Craig Cox scored the first goal in the history of the San Jose Sharks.
Dear God, those expansion teams were awful. Huh? Holy cow, with those awful expansion teams in the San Jose, Tampa, Ottawa era. Huh.
Yeah.
I think
anyway,
I saw the first goal scored in a Sharks uniform because they played a preseason game at the Coliseum that I was at, but that was preseason.
Oh, yeah? Do you remember who it was?
No.
Today's Easter egg, Jeff Merrick.
Craig Cox. No?
There have been, the Canucks acquired 2 second-round picks from the Sharks, as we discussed.
Yep.
There have been 9 second-round picks in NHL history to register 1,000 points, including one that is active as we speak. Who are the 9 guys who were selected in the second round of NHL entry drafts who became 1,000-point scorers?
Is the active one Nikita Kucherov?
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
And honestly, well, you score 1,000 points, there are some extraordinary names on this list, like sensational players, lots of centers, lots and lots of centers.
I mean,
one of
this
whom
is just too big a field.
One of whom with 4 cups,
Massive.
one of whom with back-to-back cups, one of them
Mark
with
Messier.
cups in 2. I don't believe so. No.
Well, it's going to be a problem if he's right.
It is going to be a problem if he's right. No, Messier was the 3rd rounder.
Third.
Yeah.
3rd. Okay, right. And
One of them, one of the all-time cup winner with one of the all-time two-way defensive centermen. One of them with the longest suspension in NHL, one of the longest suspensions in NHL history.
Nobody's jumping off the page here for me. Mike Gartner.
No.
This might have been too difficult for you guys. I'm sorry.
This is a tricky one here. Hang on.
Yeah. A 4-time Cup winner, centerman. Oh, actually, he may be a 5-time Cup winner because he went off to another team that won Cups.
Brian Trottier?
That's correct. How many Cups did he win? Did he win one in Pittsburgh as well?
He won Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, holy cow. Yeah, Trottier. A back-to-back Cup winner in the 70s. Canadian hockey legend.
Oh, Bobby Clark.
Very good. A 2-time Cup winner. One in Calgary, one in Dallas.
McInnes?
NCAA hockey legend.
Joe Newendijk.
Very good.
He was second round, really.
One of the most prolific and underrated scoring wingers, itty-bitty guy, San Jose Shark at one point, put up a lot of points there, part of a great junior hockey team in Spokane.
Oh, in Spoke. I would have said Marian Hossa, but he played Portland.
Itty-bitty guy.
Sawed-off wing. They listed him at 5'10", but began his career with the San Jose Sharks.
I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah, who's that?
Two-way. That's Ray Whitney.
Ray Whitney.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Gonna be a GM one day.
Yeah.
Now playing against my
Wizards.
Spengler
Former
Cup.
stick boy for the Oilers.
He's still playing men's league up in Kelowna with all the ex-NHL guys up there.
One of the all-time defensive centermen, recently retired Stanley Cup winner.
Patrice Bergeron?
Correct.
Dale Hunter.
Dale Hunter, very good,
he
Blake.
was second in that one. Oh, nice one.
The New
He
Jersey...
may have the highest PIMS of all these guys, too. He would. Yeah, highest PIMS of all these guys, too.
Yeah.
Sorry, New Jersey, yes.
New Jersey, I believe he's their all-time leading scorer.
Patrick Eliash.
Correct. Yeah. And then American center was a hero in a Canadian market. Also played for the New York Islanders. And Rangers. Began his career with the Rangers. I forgot, actually. Was a young player. Cup winner in Carolina.
God.
Oh, hang on. Doug Waite.
Very good.
Oh, wow.
Dougie Waite. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
That was hard.
That was hard. I know.
That's okay. That's fun, though. That was fun. I like that
And then
one. That was good.
The hilarious part is the next two guys, second-round picks, all-time scoring on the list, Larry Robinson and Chris Chelios.
It's funny, too, because I think you mentioned earlier, like Larry Robinson was the original Zdeno Chara.
Oh, yeah.
So until one fateful game at Maple Leaf Gardens, and this might have been the same season where he ended the myth of Dave Schultz, he got dropped by Dave Hutchison, who was one of the most underrated tough guys of all time. That guy was tough. Wasn't anywhere near the player that Larry. I still maintain that is the one player to this day, as far as the greats go, that we don't talk about enough. Larry Robinson, as one of the great defensemen of all time. Full stop. Last call. Period.
Absolutely. And
God, he was good.
And that
was a good one.
As a kid, like knee-high to a grasshopper, my uncle used to take me to the Forum, and there was a palpable buzz when Lafleur got on the ice. There was a palpable buzz when Chris Nyland was looking for a fight, and there was a palpable buzz when Big Bird was making his way to the corner on a puck carrier, because you knew that poor puck carrier was about to take.
I thought for the Easter egg this week, you were going to do something with goalie fights. And
that would have been a good topic. That would have been a good topic.
What I preemptively, when I saw the fight, I'm like, Maddie's asking me about goalie fights. Like, going away. This is going to be the end this week.
We kind of did that yesterday.
So here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Who holds the record for most, not goalie fights, but fights by a goalie in the history of the NHL? It is a record, I assure you, will never be touched, ever.
It's got to be Hextall or Billy, right? So you go Hextall, I'll go Billy.
Yeah.
It's Billy. Do you know what the number is?
I'll go 12. I'll go 12.
12 sounds high, right?
12, it's higher than 12?
21.
No way.
Because don't forget, I think that
he
I'm
20. What?
He fought,
Jeff.
He only fought.
He had a prize fighting career. He had a prize fighting career in the NHL.
He only fought like 2 goalies. He fought and the thing is, he fought Dave Semenko. He fought Steve Durbano. To be fair,
sure
he fought Lindy Ruff and Lanny McDonald, but he fought players.
But to be fair, the body shots don't hurt. The body shots don't hurt from Dave Semenko. You're only worrying about your head at that point.
Go look at the Semenko fight, because it starts with Dave Semenko sucker punching Billy Ace, and he doesn't go down. It's available on YouTube. You can see it.
Oh,
just go to Billy Smith Random. The Semenko one is incredible because it's in the crease, and Semenko just dropped 21 fights, and it's against tough guys. He's not picking his spots here either. And the Lanny McDonald fight, I think it was Gord Lane standing beside him. Waves him off. No, I got this. Starts fighting Lanny.
It's funny. You type in Billy Smith fights into Google, and their AI, Lanny McDonald, 79, a significant fight where Smith waved off his defenseman and took on McDonald, showing his toughness. They later became friends.
He crested 50 minutes in PIMS one year. He only played 39 games. He had 54 penalty minutes.
That will be a record forever. Games to penalty minute ratio for a goaltender in NHL history.
Got to be the high.
Yeah.
Billy Smith, everybody else. You got to run. Thank you for this.
Thanks, sir.
Much obliged.
Thanks,
I'll make it an easier Easter egg next week.
No, honestly, I love the way we did that this week. That was awesome. I like the pulling teeth ones, and I like having a backup in Blake, too, so that's good.
Yeah,
Thanks, Go Jets.
I think Blake was out of his depth a little. He was the 80-81 Jets on this one.
Yeah.
They won the Avco Cup. Give them the flowers.
See you, Jeff.
See you, boys.
So Harrison Price from the historic Wall Center. The real win happens after the final buzzer. Stay downtown. Stay comfortable. Stay close to everything at the Sheraton Vancouver Wall Center. Your game day home base starts at wallcenter.com. Seattle, we have a problem. Big problem with big men. None of the Seahawks' 3 left tackles practiced yesterday, Blake. Charles Cross, his backup Josh Jones, who's missed games here, and even the third stringer, Amari Kite. They all missed the first practice before the NFC Championship game. You may remember Cross missed the final 3 games of the regular season with a hamstring injury. But a knee issue was added to the injury report last week. And now they have him listed with a foot injury designation. So there you go. It's all connected, right?
Foot bone's connected to the knee bone.
A hamstring.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can't play with a right-handed quarterback like Sam Darnold, who's already feeling some ghosts in the pocket, oh, man. And that pass rush with those edge guys, Young, Verse, oof.
Or would they be allowed to play all 3 at 30%? Because then they would equal 100% healthy?
I don't know. I don't know if at that point you go to more max protection formations where you're keeping tight ends and running backs in.
Yeah.
This 6 offensive lineman formation is getting is getting some run now with teams. So the Bears use that a lot. Other playoff teams have been using 6 offensive line, just taking a receiver out of the pattern to make sure you protect the quarterback.
Given they played a very conservative they used a conservative offense last week to great effect. I think it's possible you could do that.
Well, except for the problem there is you don't have Charbonnet. So how many times are you giving the ball to Walker? Like, well,
a lot.
Kenneth Walker used to carry the ball like 35 times at Michigan State, and I'm sitting here wondering, maybe he has to do that again.
Yep. I think that's very possible. They're going to have to hope that Halani is ready to come back.
Also, find ways to get Rashid Shaheed the ball quickly. Pitch it to him. Reverses,
sweeps,
quick hits, jet sweeps, all of it. He's the best you got, Coach.
Jet sweeps are a great idea because it's basically a running game.
Mm-hmm. I say the best you got. Well, he's the most explosive. He's not Jackson Smith in Jigba, who won the Pro Football Writers Association Offensive Player of the Year yesterday. As Captain Bell notes, the last and only Seahawk to win this award was Sean Alexander in 2005 when he was the league MVP and the team went to the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, the AP has announced finalists for NFL awards, and there's tons of Seahawks content. Mike McDonald, the Harbaugh disciple, head coach of the year. Clint Kubiak, their offensive coordinator, assistant coach of the year. Jackson Smith and Jigba, offensive player of the year. And Nicky Manwari, defensive rookie of the year. Those awards will be announced on February 5th.
I mean, I would guess that all of those guys have a pretty darn good chance of winning those selective categories.
I don't think McDonald's going to win coach of the year. It's a very good field this year. You have guys like, Cohen in Jacksonville.
Yeah, but
Vrabel in New England.
But Jacksonville is more than New England. Well, they're all teams.
As you know, Blake, coach of the year often goes to a team who
very low
expectations. So Jacksonville winning their division, New England winning their division, being high seeds.
But the Seahawks were a 9-win team for most people, and they got 14.
Ben Johnson as well, Chicago, the last to first. So, yeah, I don't think he'll win. And then there's this. We talked about going into the playoffs after the win against the 49ers the final week of the regular season where they didn't score a lot of points but won the game. We said, look, Super Bowl formulas in the past. Have a legendary defense, 85 Bears, Legion of Boom, or just have a defense that's a notch below those two Giants teams that beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Those have been formulas to, compensate for average or uneven quarterbacking offense. Well, take a look at this. The Seahawks this year are one of 7 teams in the last 55 years to average more than 29 points per game and allow 17 or fewer. 5 of the 6 previous teams won the Super Bowl. Well, and the other one is the undefeated New England Patriots.
It's a pretty good mix. By having those stats, it means you're very good defensively and more than capable offensively.
You're beating teams by 12 points plus, right?
Like that's the sweet spot. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
So that portends well. 49ers are investigating the viral conspiracy theory, as Adam Schefter put it, that an electrical substation near the team's training facility and Levi Stadium is contributing to all their injuries. Blake, have you seen this?
No, I have not.
So this has been speculated by social media users for some time because the 49ers are routinely one of the most injured teams in the league. And there are people who understand this science way more than me.
Lowercase s science.
Well, who draw a link saying
EMFs.
EMF. Excessive exposure to electromotive force. George Kittle. Bosa, the defensive end. Fred Warner. Of course, McCaffrey's had all his injuries. This year, Pearsall and Jennings, the wide receivers. The 49ers had $95 million on injured reserve, some $20 million more than the next closest team. Wide receiver Kendrick Bourne talked about the substation when discussing George Kittle's Achilles injury. And yesterday, general manager John Lynch had to give this theory voice, quote, because it deals with allegedly the health and safety of our players, I think you have to look into everything. We've been reaching out to anyone and everyone to see, does a study exist? He suggested his players basically need to know now. whether this is a thing. And holy cow, if it is a thing, Blake, what do you do? Are you going to pick up and move your training facility? That would be costly. Can't do anything about the stadium.
I am a bit of a family room expert on this topic. We were very close to living in a house right beside like major power lines, like, transportive power lines. So I went down the rabbit hole on this years ago. And certainly there is...
What can you tell us, Dr. Price?
Certainly there is claims of risks of long-term exposure leading to cancer. Certainly there is anecdotal evidence of fatigue, headaches, that sort of stuff caused by EMFs. I have never once come across
soft tissue
injuries and skeletal injuries as a result. Of all the claims, I've not come across
There were major power lines in the suburb I grew up in the other side of town. And we used to go and play basketball at a court nearby. Like the buzzing was audible at all times.
Yeah. Oh, you can hear it.
So if it's buzzing, there's something going on there.
Oh,
right. Like your
EMFs are a thing. Part of my exercise when I did this was you can go to BC Hydro, and BC Hydro will rent you devices to measure the EMFs in your house.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like even BC Hydro sort of on board of you don't want a lot of it. So EMFs are a thing, and I think you probably don't want long-term exposure to it, but they're not living there. They're merely working there some of the time. And I don't know if it's leading to Achilles injuries and ACL tears.
Okay. Wave to the child, Blake. We got a looky-loo here. Very adorable. Love his glasses. Lastly, we mentioned that Bills head coach Sean McDermott, in discussing that controversial no-catch interception ruling versus Denver last week, criticized the call because he was, quote, sticking up for Buffalo, and how that was interpreted as wanting to get the public on his side lest his superiors want to fire him. He also took the unusual step of calling Bills reporters in the press box to further object to the call. Well, it worked, especially after that disastrous press conference from owner Terry Pegula and GM Brandon Beane yesterday. Bills fans launch a petition to reinstate fired coach Sean McDermott. As of this morning, it had more than 20,000 signatures.
So what's like? I'm 99% sure this won't work.
Yeah,
I think Pegula's a bit stubborn.
Pegula is crazy enough, though, where he might go home and go, "Oh my God, I'm taking a licking." You know what, Bean, you're out. McDermott, can you come back?
But even a like a non-crazy owner, does that petition get to a certain number where you have to pay attention to it?
I don't think so.
No. Like, what if it's 100,000?
When you say pay attention,
consider it.
Have an internal discussion where you say, "Oh, we're on the wrong side of the fence. We better make sure we do well here and make a good hire." And
right, but actually
have
rehire
more transparency and reach.
There is not a number where you say, "If you got to 200, I'm rehiring the guy."
No. I mean, they're moving into a new stadium. It's not like ticket sales are going to be a problem.
Well, the other part is, does McDermott want to go back given how he's been treated?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does he want to go back to a tenuous situation where he doesn't feel
I think
wanted?
He probably would.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well,
I think
it's a head coaching job in the NFL, Blake. Now, if he's got one of these other openings in his crosshairs, if he's a good candidate, and is going to find himself with the Raiders in the first overall pick, or
playoffs in 8 of 9 seasons,
one of these
and
other
2
teams.
AFC championships, is a pretty good resume.
Well, and remember just how, they were one of the worst franchises in sport for a long period of time before McDermott got there. Baseball, where Cody Bellinger and the Yankees agree, 5-year, $162 million deal. There are opt-outs on this contract. And that means the Jays struck out on the 3 big outside targets this winter: Kyle Tucker, Bellinger, and of course Alex Bregman.
But they landed one of the super outside talents in the Japanese player.
Well, okay. And of course also missed on the homegrown guy, Bo Bichette. And there's an extraordinary column in the Toronto Star from their lead columnist, Rosie DiMano, who says the Jays never really wanted him back. Didn't talk extension much last season, and that Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins' comments about wanting him back were lies. I'm quoting the column. They lied. They always lie. End quote.
Wow.
Now, that's extraordinary enough. But then DiMano goes on to write, and I know Rosie, and I like her, but this next sentence is either towing or crossing the journalistic line on ethics and off-the-record reporting unless she got permission. Blake, listen to this. Yet over the past 2 seasons, and especially during a miserable 2024, in conversations with Bichette, off-the-record private chats, it was my impression that he did not see a long-term future for himself in Toronto, didn't even really want that, or at least had weaned himself away from wanting it. Though he rarely revealed his innermost thoughts, grown more reserved over the years, there were occasions when he disclosed deep anger towards the organization and bitter disappointment. The theory is that at one point it was the Vladdy and Bo show, the 2 kids who came up together during the through the minors, great friends, franchise cornerstones, and that Vladdy just got so popular that he overshadowed Bo, that they drifted apart a little bit personally, and that Bo started to feel unloved both within the organization and in the marketplace.
I mean, to be fair,
that second part I get.
Yeah, because Vlad got all the endorsements and he didn't even speak English. Like Bichette speaks perfect English.
Well,
and wasn't getting the endorsement opportunities that Guerrero.
And of course, Vlad had that enormous year, but Vlad also had a couple of mediocre years. And Bichette's there every year, especially when he was healthy. He's leading the American League in hits, are right there.
Now the legacy part is obvious.
Yeah.
From a Canadian standpoint, they're both legacy players, but one more so than the other.
Yeah, and Bo's dad, Dante, is not a good guy. That was the other thing. He was part of the organization early on, and then he was not. And there's reason for that. Allegations of abuse. And the Jays have announced their non-roster invitees to spring training. It features a number of players who finished last season with the Class High A Vancouver Canadians of the Northwest League, including shortstop Arjun Namala, infielder Cutter Coffey, catcher Edward Duran. A reminder, the Canadian season starts April 3rd with the home opener at the Nat on Tuesday, April 7th. Get your tickets, 604-872-5232 or CanadiansBaseball.com.
I hope Arjun Namala ups his hustle a little bit this year and can be a shooting star in the organization.
I think he's going to start at Double-A. I know he had a really tough final few months, but I think they're probably because of the stature of the prospect here, I would think he starts in Double-A, but he'd still be super young for Double-A. I mean, he's just 20 years old in October.
Remember he told us last summer that he was yanked off the field for lack of hustle running the base paths?
Actually, now that I look at it again, boy, he wound up hitting 224, Blake, with an OPS of 694, and that was after a pretty darn good start. So,
he's got to get on.
He has come back here. I mean, he was more than 3 years younger than the league average, Namala, last year, playing as a 19-year-old.
It wouldn't be embarrassing to come back, but you'd want him to dominate when he does.
I have our old friend Andy Dunn and his voice in my ears, the past C's president. He used to always say to me towards the end of the year, Matt, he's hitting 2. Did he really graduate the league? Mm-hmm. Andy was very big on that. Show me you've graduated the league. You hit 300, you've graduated this league. You hit 25 bombs, you've graduated this league. But 224 with 13 home runs? That's not graduated the league.
No, probably not.
2026 is going to be an enormous year, of course, in Canadian soccer with the World Cup here and more spotlight on this Canadian men's senior national team than ever before. And, of course, 2025 was pretty darn good, too, with what the Vancouver Whitecaps did getting all the way to MLS Cup, CONCACAF champions.
Great day yesterday, by the way. Promise David versus Alphonso Davies. So fun.
Blake's been every single day. Blake is in here talking about these Canadians who are playing abroad, particularly the ones playing with big European clubs, tracking their progress. This was something we just did not do as Canadian sports fans until, I guess, Alphonso Davies, right? Byron?
That started it.
Alas, our top men's domestic league, the CPL, off to quite a concerning start here in 2026. The Valor franchise in Winnipeg folded. We had that story not long ago, the ex-coach of Vancouver FC alleging the club failed to repay a $500,000 loan, suing.
Lawsuit started, yeah.
And now yesterday, the story in the Victoria Times Colonist saying the city of Langford is requiring Pacific FC to pay 2 weeks in advance for use of Starlight Stadium this season. The city claims the club owes them $800,000. Pacific FC Managing Director Ross Marshall, speaking to the Times Colonist, said the club is committed to, quote, protecting the 2026 season and will pay up front, as the city has requested. Protecting, not a great word. Marshall also said there are areas of disagreement between the two sides regarding the, quote, interpretation and application of our agreements.
Yeah, this has been...
They're supposed to remit $1 per ticket to the city. The city says that has not happened. There's also a huge bill for the use of the training facility and indoor facility, according to the city.
It's a little concerning, up for sale. I don't love the look of this for, Langley and...
Some good franchise. Cavalry in Calgary's done well. Forge in Hamilton has done well. Atletico Ottawa with their championship in the snow. Halifax has got a fantastic... There's a new team in Quebec that people are excited about, Montreal.
Ultimately, and all that's true, but you just named 5 franchises, and that does not a domestic league make. And... again, the challenges of this country being so damn big, the model is a tough one.
But also, for me, it's beyond the challenges of expensive travel and all of that. I just wonder about the appetite for this level of soccer.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, in markets where, especially in the 3 major markets, it's... Yeah. Like you named Cavalry. Yeah, Calgary's a big city with some money. No surprise that they...
And no MLS team.
Yeah, no MLS team.
Hamilton, as we know with the Tiger Cats, make it of Hamilton, by Hamiltonians, they will support.
Yeah, Halifax. Yeah.
Halifax, same thing. Craving for sport, pro sport there.
I'm amazed Edmonton doesn't have a team. Edmonton's got a long history.
Yeah. To golf, where Adam Hadwin of Abbotsford returns to the Corn Ferry Tour next week in Panama. It will be his first start on the minor league circuit below the PGA Tour since 2014. He's now 38 years old. And a candid interview with Jason Logan of Score Golf, where he gets detailed about his swing changes, his perspective, and doing, quote, whatever it takes to get back to the PGA Tour. Hadwin says, and I quote, I'm over the ego blow. I fully accepted where I'm at. I don't know what the future holds. This year could go just as bad, and I could lose all status on Corn Ferry, and we might be having a discussion a year from now about me never playing golf again. I don't know. I'm 38 years old. I've played 11 years on the PGA Tour. I've played professionally 16 years now, and I'd like to think I still have a lot more to go. God, I'm pulling for him. Such a good dude. He showed great perspective in this interview. He talked about how he's made enough money to be set for life. Talked about how great his family is, his wife Jessica. And if you don't follow Jessica Hadwin on X, go follow Jessica on X. She is one of my favorite and one of the funniest accounts out there. His family. He talked about his struggles last year amounting to chasing perfection in an imperfect game and not focusing as much on little victories. He talked about practice sessions and practice rounds where things were going well. He was seeing shots, delivering shots, and then he'd get out on course, and those shots weren't happening for him as routinely, and that just shook him. So he has made some swing changes. We'll see where it goes. Needless to say, everybody in Canadian golf and in this community pulling for him. American Express, second stop on the PGA Tour this weekend. Well, start already. Palm Springs. Big Canadian field here. Abbotsford's Nick Taylor, who's playing with Taylor Pendriff. Same group. Surrey's Adam Svensson's involved. So is Cook Whitlam's A.J. Ewart, Mackenzie Hughes. The new shooter, Yella Miraju, who had a good first tournament, second ever PGA Tour tournament last week in Hawaii. And Scotty Scheffler debuts this week, making a season debut.
Yeah, and I saw he started 5 under through 6 holes. So you're playing for second. That's okay, though. You still get a lot of money for finishing second.
It's kind of like Tiger.
Huh? Yeah.
That is actually one of the bigger stories now, I think, in American sport in 2026. If Scheffler has another year, like at that point, we're talking about a guy who, okay, a long way to go to catch, to be in the conversation with Jack and Tiger in terms of major championships. But are we looking at a Tom Watson level player here or better?
I would think.
Like a Gary Player, Tom Watson, like that
how
sort of that
how
next.
How old is Scotty Scheffler in your mind? Don't deduce. Gut instinct.
29?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Good for you. He looks like he's 40.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of feel like he's running out of runway. Yeah. He's not. He's got at least 10 years of primetime golf. What can he do in the next 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, if he could be primetime into his late 30s, that would be quite an achievement. And then there's tennis. Denis Shapovalov. Oh, boy. He gets absolutely destroyed at the Aussie Open last night. 6'4", 6'3", 6'2" to 37-year-old Marin Cilic, the former world number 3.
On. Are you kidding me? To a 37-year-old.
I mean, I saw some of the commentary. He was struggling to get a first serve in. All the Canadian men are done. Just Vicky and Boko left amongst Canadians on the singles side of things.
And
she plays today. She's one of the first matches up, so 4 p.m.
Infamous departures. It's an injury departure for Felix. Straight set loss for Chapo. Straight set loss and looked terrible as well for Layla.
Stakucic injury to pull out.
Diallo and Stakucic, I mean, less expectation there, but and Diallo had to play Zverev too, so a little less than that. But in terms of the people with expectation, really meek Aussie Open. So I hope Victoria Mboko can salvage something here.
Results of the daily poll question from yesterday. Based on the trades of Quinn Hughes and Kiefer Sherwood, do Rutherford and Alvin have the rebuild on the right track? Yes or no? What did the people say, Blake?
Ooh. Yes.
They said yes. Percentage?
68.
65. Glenn, nope. Canucks should never be in a rebuild situation to begin with. Biggest blunders, picking Miller over Horvat, then Pettersson over Hughes. Any way you spin it, losing a generational defense will go down as a top 5 all-time once his career is over. Absolutely unacceptable. Troy, I'm saying no until they make one more decent trade. We saw a lot of that. Rob the siding guy, yes, but those were the easy ones, the obvious assets a lot of teams wanted. Now start the teardown, Jim and Patrick. And Michael says the first few inches are good. The miles remain to be determined. That's very well put, Michael. Errors and omissions from yesterday's program. It's a couple on baseball. I wondered aloud if Andy Pettitte is still the major league leader all-time in postseason victories. He is with 19, 2 better than Justin Verlander. Now, more than a grain of salt on this because, of course, we have an expanded playoff now. You didn't have that in years gone by. I mean, Blake and I were sitting here talking. When we were kids in the 80s, if you played 7 games in this LCS and in the World Series, you're a starter, like, at the absolute high end.
It'd be 5 starts.
Get 6 starts.
I don't think
probably only 5.
Yeah.
It
did prompt me to wonder how many guys ahead of Pettitte just in wins are not in the Hall of Fame, because he is not.
And the answer there is 8. Pettit with 256 all-time wins. Now, Clemens is the only guy over 300 wins not in. That's a PED issue.
For obvious reasons.
Tommy John is just shy of 300 wins, and there is a push to get John in, not just because of a splendid career, but, of course, because of the elbow surgery that's now named for him and has allowed pitchers to continue to, to recover from those blown UCL elbow ligaments. Here's what I'll say. For me, we talked about this yesterday. The standard for a starting pitcher getting to the Hall of Fame is coming down. It used to be almost had to get 300 wins. Like that was the mark. 500 home runs, 300 wins were the, if you eclipse them, you're in. There are very few players actually from like 270 wins upwards that are not in the Hall of Fame. 256 in the all-time leader in postseason wins, Blake. And I was a big Andy Pettit fan, and I was a big Andy Pettit, and as a Blue Jays fan, there weren't many Yankees I root for, but Pettit always came off to me as a decent dude. I loved the fact that he owned his PED use when so many of when so many of them were lying to our faces. Big game pitcher, workhorse starter, lefty. Andy Pettit is in my Hall of Fame.
You can make the argument, too, that it's responsible to put him in to set a precedent of honesty will get you somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, especially when paired with a sublime career.
Yeah.
I mean, a big lefty who controlled the strike zone, got his fair share of strikeouts, pitched to contact. I mean, he was an awesome pitcher. And I said I hadn't checked out who the first-year eligibles are next year when we were discussing the candidacy of Felix Hernandez of the Mariners. So Buster Posey, San Francisco Giants catcher, people think he will get in because, of course, when you compare him against other catchers, his numbers will stand up, plus 3 World Series. Former M, Kyle Seager, I don't think he's going to get there, but he's first-year eligible. And then people also wonder about John Lester, the former Cubs and Red Sox starter. Another big quality lefty. Remember he had the yips thrown to first base once, the pickoff move? Couldn't execute the pickoff move. So people think Posey is a for sure, that Lester has a chance. Felix has got to get from 45 to 75. It would take another huge jump for Felix, but
how many years left?
I think he's got an outside shot here.
How many years left is he?
Oh, Felix has got he's got 8.
Yeah, so I think he'll incrementally
get there.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Appreciate you spending some time connecting with the program. Please do subscribe to all our sort of channels, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Costs you nothing. Same with following on social. X, Insta, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky, live on many of those platforms, noon Pacific time, weekdays. And, of course, please do support the community sponsors you hear us talking about and keep it local.